What is up, YouTube? I am back with a quick video today. We're gonna do a replacement of all the LED bulbs in the dash. This is a 2006, as you know, so it's very yellowish. The OEM bulbs, they're just old. I don't know if they're halogen or what fluid was in the old ones, but they just don't look good at night. And with the Alpine head unit in here, the Halo 9 being so much brighter than everything else, it just looks weird. This is a mod I've been wanting to do for quite some time. We just had and I'll show you, it's kind of hard to see, but we just had a little wash party. Washed all the cars today. They look really clean. You'll see a quick video in there. But anyways, been wanting to do this for some time, just been putting it off. Here we are. Let's get to it. So it's kind of hard to see. The sun is shining out there. I should probably close the garage, so I apologize. We're trying to get what the best lighting in here would be. But with it being so bright out there, it's really hard. Anyways, what we have to do is remove the Halo 9 head unit, of course. Sorry, I'm trying to avoid the sun here, but maybe that part will help right there. Remove the Halo 9 head unit. Everything else is pretty straightforward. There's some T bolts in here that we have to remove. I think there's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 or 7 or so. So we'll take this apart. Some of the ones that we want to replace are in these little gauges right here. I do have the ones for the AC unit as well. That's a little bit more complicated, so I don't know if I'll be doing those. And then the other ones are going to be in here. As you can see, they just doesn't look all that great. It's yellowish, it's old, but we're going to replace these as well in the dash panel itself. So let's get right to it. All right, I went and got a little better lighting here. Hopefully you can see a little bit better. The sun was just so bright out there. It was not contrasting very well in here, but you can kind of see what I'm talking about. So dash lights, all the gauges in here all have old lights, and then there's one for this as well too. So I'm hoping I can get all of these done today, but if not, I'm going to focus on the dash. These are the easiest ones, and the gauges in here. So let's get to it. Let's and I've said that like 5 times. Let's remove the Halo 9 unit. So there's a couple bolts around the side that you can do. Then you can either slide it down or slide it up. That gives you a little bit of room to get into the release piece of it, since this is adjustable right here. So I'm going to take this head unit down. So let me put this down real quick and get to those bolts. So the first thing you want to do with the Halo 9 is, if you haven't taken it off before, there's these little tabs back there. They literally just go, if you look over here, it says left, it says right, and they just literally clip on back here. With your hands, you pop these out, and then you can get to, there's a couple bolts so that you can free up the screen, move it up and down. It just makes things a little bit easier. And that's not what I'm looking for. I have to get a shorter screwdriver, but literally they're kind of right here on the side. It will be hard to see it with the without the camera itself, but if you put your hands on there, you can kind of feel them. If I get in, I can't zoom in with the GoPro here, but you can kind of see what I'm talking about. So those are the screws you want to take off first. That'll allow the screen to move up and down. There's 2 on each side. All right, guys, I got the 4 screws loose behind the Halo 9. Like I was telling you, what this does is it allows you to move the screen. As you can see, this is fully adjustable, and you can tilt it if you wanted to have it kind of up like that too, where it'd give you a little bit more room. Of course, that would be a problem with the shifter over here, so we can't do that. So I've had it kind of right there. That way I still get my functioning AC vents over here, and of course access to the AC control units down there. So now this allows me to slide up, and it's kind of hard to see, but what I'm trying to do, if I move this out of the way, I want to be able to get behind it so that I can release the clips. If I kind of look on the side here, you can see what I'm trying to get to, which is right there. I can insert the release, this little toolkit right here. This is just a cheap one that I got on Amazon, and this is the radio removal tool. So I'll just get the ones for Dodge, and we'll pop those in on the side, and this should slide right out. You can also do it with 2 butter knives. I've had to do that before I got the little kit. I don't recommend it, but you can put 2 butter knives on either side once you tilt this up, and it'll slide right out. So let me put the light down, put the camera down, and we'll get to that. And yes, I do need to clean all the fingerprints on here. It's kind of gross. So just to show you what that looks like, these are 2 little inserts that you have. There is one that says left, as you can see. I actually have them backwards, and one for the right side, and you just kind of want to get in there and lift the little tabs, and it'll slide, let the radio slide out. These are for Alpine, which I think they also work for Audi, Mercedes, Renault, any one of those. So Alpine, Becker. So let's give it a try. All right, guys, we've got this loose over here. They were able to pop out. So now I just gotta carefully bring these out. I did have to use the longer ones actually. These ended up working a little bit better. I think the other ones were just a hair too short. And I used the little longer ones, which are for Pioneer JVC. So these actually worked a little bit better. Cheap little kit came in handy for sure. Like I said, I've done it with butter knives before. Don't recommend it, but I have. So now, this is where it gets a little tricky here. So tight. That's what she said. So I don't have a lot of room here, so I got to start unplugging things so I don't break stuff. And this thing is really front heavy, so it makes it really hard. Just got to unplug all the harnesses in here. Hopefully you guys can see, and I'm not aiming too high. It's hard not to have my preview in here. Let me turn this on so I can get my preview back. There we go. Alright. It's a good thing with this wide angle here. It does make it a little bit easier to see. And it's just a bunch of little things to unplug here. There we go. Get the antenna unplugged. One of the things I wanted to do while I'm in here also is I want to get the camera eliminator so that I can, the e-brake eliminator, so I can turn the camera on pretty much whenever I want. Here we go. Get this out here. There we go. And then one more down here. And that is it. She is free. So we're going to go ahead and put this down here carefully. Don't want to crack this sucker up. So we've got the radio free. So now we just want to get all these out. These suckers you're going to want to take out as well. They just pop right out. If you want, it does make it a little bit easier to work on there. There we go. These are just little covers that go on there. So now, get my little T screw. I think this is the right one. Here we go. These suckers are on there good. So we just got to undo these. Sorry about the lighting. Like I said, I try to have the outside light on. See it would help. See if it would help, but it's so bright out there. It's funny how that works out. When I want cloudy skies for better lighting, it does not come up. By the way, I went ahead and removed the vents, and I do need to clean in there. It's kind of filthy. Just to give me a little more room to work with here. Anyways, I'm going to go ahead and remove the rest of these, and then we'll get this panel off real quick. Alright, so now I got to move this sucker around here. I actually need a bigger one for this. This little kit comes in really handy. I think it's these right here. Hopefully I've got the correct one. Then I'm going to have to dig in the toolbox. Yep, there we go. So put that one back in here. And if you're wondering what this is, a lot of people ask me what that's for. It's just a cigarette lighter. Nothing exciting. So we'll go ahead and take these out. These are a different color, so easy to tell between these. I should try to find either chrome ones or polished metal. And then you can also take this off over here if you want, so you can slide that whole thing out. I've been thinking about what I do with this dash panel. Paint it, do some hydro dipping maybe, hydrographics, whatever they're called, or I've thought about just doing like a carbon fiber overlay too. I think that would be pretty interesting. What do you guys think? Okay, I think that one's out. Got one more over here. Ooh, try not to scratch that. This part's actually really expensive. It's funny because I got all these like nice accents that you put into, those just kind of stick on there, kind of like what I have here in the cup holder. And then these rings are on there. I got them really, really cheap. And this little piece, even used, this ring around the shifter, it's so expensive. It's crazy how much that costs to replace this little ring. It is a solid piece of metal. It's actually really well built. You can't tell from the camera, but this is solid, man. Look at the construction on this thing. Really well built piece. So maybe that's why it's so expensive. So we'll put that to the side. As you can see, a little dirty in here. So now let's move this out of the way. And now I just want to try to pop this panel up. I think that's all there's to it. It just pops right up. A little panel popper will help you sometimes with these. There we go. So I don't have to take all this out of the way. There's just 1 or 2 screws down here before you pull this panel off, as you can see. So hopefully I can get to it. And it's a little tricky. So I have to just move this out of the way. Maybe rotate it a little bit. This actually loosens up. They're pretty tight, but there's actually a bolt here where you can loosen this up, take this out completely. What I may do is just go under it, perhaps, so I don't have to take this sucker out. This is a bit of a pain. Man, it like moves every which way except the way I want it to go. Alright, so what I had to do was, I did have to loosen this up over here. I'm just going to take the whole shifter out. It's not very hard, but it'll just give me the room I need so I can remove this completely. So we'll put the sucker down here. Now I can slide this sucker out. And there is a little switch plug down here, so you just got to be careful you don't tear it out. There's one for the cigarette lighter over here as well. That's why I was trying to avoid doing this, because that cigarette lighter one's really hard to unplug. If I can get to it, there we go. Okay, there's your one. It's like on the side here. There we go. Now, I'm just going to rotate it around because I really don't want to fool with this whole piece. I don't know what this for. Just leftover pieces. Alright. So now we can get to this little screw right here. And we can get to take this panel out. Okay, I think that's all of them. Always pull gently. Remember, you do have the engine start plug back here as well. This one's kind of on the side. And then, of course, you've got all the AC modules back here. This is one big plug. And then there's a sensor. There's something over here. So let's get through that one too. Kind of hard when you can't see. And unfortunately, I parked the car way too close to the other side. So I can't even get on the passenger side. And I'm way too fat to try to jump over the center stack here to get to it. Alright, so I'm going to kind of put this back to where it was. And this should give me the room that I need to work on this piece. So this should be pretty straightforward. You want to take this piece out. This is all one piece that comes out for the dash itself. Kind of like right down here, you can see where some of the screws go on this, and they clip on. So this will give you a lot of room to work on the rest. Man, that's on there pretty good. I appreciate everything Dodge did to keep the heat out. Unfortunately, it was a futile attempt because they don't help. I can see a lot of insulation and heat stuff to help dissipate the heat, keep it out of the cabin, but man, If you own a Viper, you know. For those that don't, there's just so much heat in this cabin. Let me see. So you can see where a lot of these little screws will be. And what I'm trying to do is remove this whole piece for the dash right here. So I can pop these out already. These just kind of pop in there, as you saw in one of my older videos. And we'll have to take all this apart, get all these screws out, and then this will come off, which will expose this right here and make it easier for me to go in the back. I have to unscrew these little bolts right here. Then I can go in the back and take these out so I can put the bulbs in place. Made in Japan. Interesting. That's good to know. America and Japan combining to make some of the best cars in the world. I like it. They should do it more often. Alright guys, so I had to move down here. There's two screws you have to remove from right under here. And then this thing kind of pops down a little bit. And you can see there's 1, 2 screws over here. This one's going to be interesting. Taking that one out. So this is a Phillips over here. Kind of hard to see, but they don't make this very easy. Really long ones for some reason. Alright, the next piece is to remove the steering column. I took out this little panel that was here. Remember, the adjustable pedals are down there, so make sure you unplug this piece right here. There should only be 2 screws down here to remove this little steering column cover. So kind of got to hold it at the top while I undo this down here. I hate these kind of screws. They're like the long plastic. I don't know why they have to make them like that, but I'm sure there's a reason. Thing's gonna be in a million pieces. Let me see if that's got it. Nope. Alright, we got the little dash cover out. Get down here so you guys can see what that looks like. Pretty wild stuff to see all this in here. Okay. Alright, so now let me hang this light back up here. Hopefully you guys can see over here. Come on, light, cooperate. A little dark in here, but I think now you just start prying this off. This makes it fun, of course. Be careful not to crack this sucker. There we go. Never sounds good. Lower the steering wheel some. Help me get this panel off. I think that's free pretty much. Maybe something down here. I feel like something's catching over here. Yeah, there it is. Okay. There's probably one over here. Okay. Just gotta get this sucker from under here. I'm trying not to break this little piece here. It's like caught over here. Oh, I see. It's clipped on over here. Just gotta get this sucker off. Ooh, that hurt. Gonna be a little blood there. Alright. A little tricky to get this sucker out. Oh, I hate how this sounds. All these old plastics. We are almost out, folks. Almost. I think we get a band-aid for that. I think that's about it. Just gotta carefully slide it out. Alright. She is out, folks. Whew. Man, was that fun. Alright, let me show you what that looks like. I have to get a rag and clean some of this stuff. It's probably never been taken off since the car was built. What is that? I don't know what that is. ABS sensor module. Pretty cool to see this stuff over here. If I wanted to upgrade the speaker, this would be a good time to do it. There's the little speakers right there. So the big grill just for that little tiny speaker in there. Alright, so we got the dash out of the way. Now I'm going to start with this, and let's get a look at it real quick. Oh, that's loud. Just so you can kind of see. Where's the door thing? Alright, so let's take these screws out. Looks like I got 6 of these. I'm going to put these over here so I don't confuse them with anything else. Hopefully, turn that off. So this battery, I don't know if it's dying. I just replaced it not long ago, but feels like it's dying, which is annoying because I just paid like $200 for it. Alright, these screws are coming off way too easy. Hopefully the lighting's a little bit better. I think the sun went down, so it's hard to tell. Alright, moment of truth. Here it is. So we got to pull this carefully and gently. Here's release number 1. These are always on here. Ah, that's why I had tapped that one. Ooh. There we go. Alright, so we got this out. Some people do cool stuff with this. They paint the inside kind of red or blue. In this case, I would maybe paint it blue to match. The bulbs are pretty straightforward, so if we take this out here, hopefully you can see okay. They just twist, and we're just going to replace those little bulbs with the LED ones. And we got to test them before I put everything back together, because as you guys know, one of the things with LEDs is they only flow a certain way, so you have to put them in a certain way. It's really cool to see this stuff made in Japan, Toshiba. Pretty wild. I never knew that about Dodge, so that's kind of cool. You know, some of these components are pretty high-end stuff. Japanese stuff to me is always some of the best out there. So anyways, we'll get these little bulbs replaced and see what this looks like. So alright, let me grab the bulbs. Alright, so I got the LEDs right here. I believe these are the right ones. I got these from Super Bright LEDs. I'll try to link in the description what models or which number these are. Let me try these out because I want to make sure I got the right ones. I think these are all the dash kit that I got, and they should replace pop in here with ease. So we'll test them out either way before I go too far. Come on, man, it's a little tricky to get those out. So this should drop in here, and again, it's just a matter of testing to make sure that these are the correct polarity, I think is what the word I'm looking for. You guys can correct me in there, but maybe not quite. Trying not to touch these with my hand. Okay. Let's put this over here so it doesn't fall in there. Let's see, it's like a little bit of tension in there. Ah, man, they're hard. There we go. That fits pretty awesome on there. I mean, they're on there pretty darn good. I should probably pop this back in here real quick just to test the LED before I go too far. Get this back in here and get this sucker back in here. Okay. if I turn this on, oh yeah, you can see, stupid bell. Alright, I got the door closed. Let me try this again. I'm going to turn this light off. Oh wow. And they're dimmable, which is really cool. Hopefully you guys can see the difference. Look how much brighter that is than this. Oh, that's going to look so much better. Alright, let's get the rest done and we'll go from there. Alright, I got all the bulbs in there. It's a little dark. I want to do another test. Yep. We got 2 really bright ones and 2 not so bright ones, and this is why you test. But man, look at the difference in the dash and look at the difference in here. Alright, I reversed those 2. Time to test it again. Oh man, look at that difference. Just looks a little bit better. And I love the fact that they're dimmable. That to me is just perfect right there. It'll match the LED screen on the Alpine a little bit better. Now let's get to the dash. So we've got these knocked out. Alright, I put all the screws secure back in here, just so I don't get these confused. Now let's take these out. It's just 4 screws from what I can tell. And should be pretty straightforward. Need a quick release steering wheel. Will sure make make working in here a little bit easier, because it's hard to get in here. And again, I apologize about the lighting in here. It's just one of those where if I open the garage door, it's too bright. If I don't open it, it's too dark. Trying to find a happy medium. It's pretty tough. Also, one of the things you might want to know with super bright LEDs, they have every color. Now I'm debating, to myself at least anyways, wondering if I should have done blue or red or some other color, but I do like the white. I mean, the white looks pretty nice. Once again, when you compare it to the other side, it's just going to look so much better already. And at night, I can't wait to see it at night. I'll get some night shots later on today too. So, all right, so let's go ahead and pop this bad boy out. It's one of those where it's pretty hard to see what's back here. I'm just going to kind of feel around and unplug as I go. There's 1, 2, and that is it. Pretty straightforward. Got the gauge out. Turn on the hazards. And again, check it out. Made in Japan. That is so cool. You know, now I'm also wondering if I should paint that white stuff, paint it blue or something, because you can see from the sun how it's kind of faded and gotten that yellowish, ugly color. Hopefully the camera will capture that, but you can kind of see, or maybe black. Black might look cool. Will make those white gauges pop out pretty good. Alright guys, so there's a lot of these back here, as you can see. We've got these little guys, which are the warning lights. I don't know if I'm going to mess with those. 3 and 3 for all the warning dummy lights. I don't need those to be super bright. And then these are just like the ones that were back here. So let's take these suckers out. It's pretty much the same kind. And that was a kit. I found a post on the Viper forums that had the bulb LED kits. I'm gonna try to find that, because it's been a while since I ordered these. I ordered these last year sometime, and I just don't remember. But I'll try to dig up the post, because that post was a saver. There's also a forum member that sells light kits, and he just puts the whole thing together for you, so you don't have to hunt for it. And maybe that one too. I mean, it really wasn't that much more expensive to order it from him. I actually didn't find that post till after I had ordered these, so it was too late for me to go back. But it really wasn't expensive at all. But hopefully I can find that, link it in the description, so that you guys can also do the same thing, order these. One thing I recommend for I know that would probably cost a lot more money than they're trying to spent on these little bulbs, but for superbrightleds.com, if you guys could put the writing like the OEM ones, you can kind of see by the writing which way they should go. That would be really, really helpful. That way I'm not spending too much time swapping these out. Not a big deal, but it definitely would help. You can kind of see. Once you get a few in there, you'll be able to tell which direction to go with these. I'll tell you what, it does hurt your hand though. These little bulbs are so small and sharp. The edges are really sharp on these suckers. I hope I have enough of these to do the whole thing. Kind of go in there, slide in. Some go in pretty easy without too much hassle in there. Alright, so let me get the rest of these in here and then we'll test it out. Alright, moment of truth. It looks like a few of them may not be working, so we're going to have to rotate some of these around. Definitely the fuel gauge one is not working, and that one was really tricky to get in there. The fitment was just really odd. So let's take it off again and try again. Alright, I reversed that one. Fuel gauge is working now. It looks like the one here in the middle might be off because it does look a little bit darker in there, but man, you can see the difference already. And I'm sure at night this is going to look so much better. And it is dimmable, as you can see. Maximum brightness. Alright, I'm going to pull that one out one more time. There's one over here in the middle. It looks a little dark in there, so I'm going to see if maybe something's not right with that one else. Alright, I swapped that one out. Time to try it one more time. There it is. There we go, folks. That looks so much better. So yeah, this middle one was very dark. I think all the other ones are okay from what I can tell. And that's it. Now it's time to put it back together. Now, I did mention earlier, I do have the bulbs for this. Let's see, might not be that difficult to pop these out. I did hear it wasn't super easy, but let's try these out anyways. What this will do is it'll make, of course, this shine a little bit better. It's not as bright, and especially with the Halo 9 screen being right on top of it, it does make it a little bit harder to get down there. And these are the little bulbs right here for it, so looks like a direct, easy fit. I don't know if you can see the model number in here, but I'll hold it up just so you guys can see the Neo 5 WHP. The ones that I was using in the dash are the T1.5-CWHP. That's Charlie Whiskey Hotel Papa. Again, T1.5-CWHP. There's 10 of these that go behind the dash here and on these gauges over here. So, all right, let me try these real quick. Sorry, it's a little dark in here, but I'm going to try to swap these out. Maybe you can see a little bit better now. These are the ones I want to swap out. So 10 of the other ones, 3 of these, and I do have a bunch more. I order quite a bit of these. Some of these, this one right here is the one for this gauge right here. I think it is. I'll have to double check. Blue, maybe not. It does look like the one that's in there already. I did order some of these for the door switches. So I'm not going to do that today. And for underneath here, where the center console goes and the power window switch, you can actually swap those out as well. So I'm going to start with these real quick. So let's knock these out.